Breaking news in the NBA as Los Angeles Lakers head coach Frank Vogel is expected to be fired this week after a disappointing regular season for the Los Angeles Lakers, with their Big Four not making it to the postseason. Also tonight, we preview the 2022 NBA postseason. The road to the NBA Finals starts this weekend. For the next couple of months, our Nation Sports Show has you covered on the playoff action in the NBA. It is that time once again, sports fans. It's showtime. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Up Nation bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Vickery, Joey Thornton, Kevin Rorie, Randy Giron, and Stephen Wyand.
All right, here we go, folks. Another Tuesday is here, which means it is time for our Nation Sports Show. Once again, what's going on, everybody? I'm Ezra Vickery, and this is our show, and we're ready to rock with you guys. We got a crazy week of sports to cover. We got tragic news. We got exciting news. We got the NBA playoffs that are going to be starting, and the play-ins that'll start this week coming up as well. We got, of course, some NFL news and whatever else news we can get into as the show progresses. And, of course, any breaking news that comes in, we'll let you know as soon as it appears on our timelines. The best ways you can interact with us right now on the show, of course, are youtube.com. Search Our Nation Sports Show in the search bar. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Excuse me. We are close to that 100 subscriber mark. Come on, guys. We're almost there. Help us out, share the content, tell your friends, tell your family, tell people you don't even know, tell people who don't really give a shit about you, tell them anyways. Because we can get to that 100 subscriber mark. It'll make it easier for you guys to find us, and it'll help make it easier for us to share content with you. Also, of course, interact with us on social media. Of course, Owen_Sports Show on Twitter, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Also, follow our individual accounts, some of our individual accounts, it's Steven_Wyand, Joe at JTS Skins. Follow me at Deadman469 on all my socials. And of course, follow my cosplay group, Too Sweet Cosplay, on all socials. And of course, follow the Nation's Corner on all of their socials, including Discord GG/The Nation's Corner. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and introduce our crew. And we got a full house tonight. Compared to what last week was. Of course, last week was a little bit of a short show due to a shortened crew, but the gang's all here, as the new Skid Row song title is.
Ah, like that.
We will, we're going to introduce everybody right now. Let's go ahead and introduce, of course, our buddy here, the number one Oakland Raiders expert. I mean, probably not an expert, but I digress. No, but he's our Oakland Raiders expert in a sense here. Randy Giron, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Just wanted to say happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing good.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say I was saddened by the loss of Dwayne Haskins, and seeing that at the beginning made me feel good. We were definitely honoring him, and I'm sure we'll get into that some more. But it's great to see you guys, and let's have a great show.
All right, let's do it, man. I'm excited. All right, we got a lot to talk about, but let's get into our next guy here. This is our buddy here. If you're a fan of the Atlanta Braves, if you're a fan of if you're a fan of the Washington Commanders, which he's probably only like 5. Then again, LeBron's only got 5 true fans as well. But we'll get into that later.
Who was this on here?
I know. I wonder whose name got changed.
Yeah, I wonder who it was.
Because Randy, your name changed more than LeBron's numbers during his entire NBA career. Let's go ahead and add it to him. Let's go right now to Joseph, not JT, Justin Timberlake, Thornton. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a great one. And I just got to say real quick, in the words of WWE superstar Robert Roode, not having the Lakers in the playoffs this year is going to be absolutely glorious.
All right, I agree with that. We'll get more into that shortly. But our next guy here is, of course, man who's probably proud of any of us that his Golden State Warriors are once again in the NBA playoffs. He's kind of our sports expert on this channel, especially when it comes to football and basketball. This is our good buddy here, Kevin Rorie. What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and just want to say I bought some extra potato chips and warmed up the seats on the couch so LeBron and company can have a seat beside me and watch the playoffs like the rest of us.
Nice. Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Bravo, sir.
All right. And of course, finally, we can't do this show without this guy. Well, literally, because it's running on his account. But
Yeah, true.
he's our heavy metal brother from North Kakalaki, who was at he was at some good rock concerts recently, including seeing the band Dirty Honey once again, which, by the way, check them out if you haven't yet. Great band. But before that, this is our brother here, the heavy metal brother from North Kakalaki, man, the one, the only Stevie Wyand. Steven, what's going on, dude?
What is going on, fellas? Hope everybody's doing good out there on Tuesday. Other than my allergies whipping my ass, I am here finally after a great concert from Dirty Honey last Tuesday at the Ritz in Raleigh. So with that being said, let's go.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to get into. And, of course, we're going to start off with the unfortunate news that we heard this past week, and that is, of course, what you saw in the very beginning of this thing, and that was the passing of Dwayne Haskins. The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback was unfortunately hit by a dump truck while out on a highway after supposedly he ran out of gas. The man was crossing the road and unfortunately got hit. Did not survive. Dwayne, of course, was training with the Pittsburgh Steelers down in Florida when this happened, competing for the number 1 quarterback position along with Mitchell Trubisky after the retirement of Big Ben. 24 years old. Definitely a quarterback with a lot of promise, guy who was really maybe getting close to finding his footing in the NBA or the NFL, excuse me. And it's insane to think about how things can change in an instant, man. And unfortunately for Steelers, they're now going to have to not only go through the grieving process of losing one of their own, but also, try to find somebody who can replace them. But of course, all that is secondary. And it's very unfortunate that a young life like this was lost so quickly. We here at a Nation Sports Show, of course, send our condolences to the family, friends, and fans of Dwayne Haskins, and of course, we dedicate this show in his memory. Any thoughts from you guys about about Dwayne Haskins?
It's very sad, very just unfortunate. I mean, just goes to show you that no matter what, anything can happen in this world. I mean, any given time, your number can be called just like that. And unfortunately for Haskins, this is just so tragic. I mean, 24 years old. I mean, that is just way too young to be gone. I mean, just the dude was, like you said, was starting to find, his purpose in the NFL. He led Washington to the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long. And he was starting to find his throwing, abilities and all that stuff. And he was, I really thought if he would have, made it, with the Steelers, in the season, I think that he could have been the starting quarterback because him and Trubisky would have been competing against each other. And
just it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Rest in peace, man.
Hey, it really does suck, man. And my prayers and my thoughts go out to his family. My prayers and thoughts go out to his teammates. Like Chase Claypool posted on TikTok about, I mean, he was heartbroken, and I felt for the man. Like, I felt the hurt in his voice, and he lost it. He didn't just lose a teammate, but he lost a brother. And my thoughts and prayers go out to them. And I really, truly, like I told Randy at work this week, I really thought Dwayne Haskins would have beat out Mitchell Trubisky for that starting job, because what he didn't have in the NFL, which Adam Schefter, first of all, shouldn't have been disrespectful when he made that tweet. That was awful, by the way.
Bad timing.
He had a coach under him. He had Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin also went public with his tweet. And I felt it. It came from the heart, and I got nothing but respect for Coach Mike Tomlin after that tweet. And I thought he would have really excelled under Mike Tomlin. But anyway, my thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his teammates.
Absolutely. I mean, just the way, everything happened. I mean, he was headed for superstardom and very promising, young man. And again, our thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to his family. I mean, just oof. It sucks to be, a fan of sports this year, because we have lost so many tragic icons, in the past couple of months and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen the outpouring from a lot of the Buckeye players, the coaches, Urban Meyer even. I know he's not a great subject on this show sometimes, but he was definitely heartbroken, and it was really sad because I really liked Haskins. I think he was getting ready to turn it around. I was really pulling for him, and I think he would have flourished in Pittsburgh. I think he really would have done well, and it's sad that we won't get to see what happened. But my thoughts and prayers go out to his family and all his teammates and former teammates, Joe Burrow, and all those guys, Justin Fields. They were all posting great memories, and that's all we have now. And just rest in peace, Dwayne. We'll be missed.
Absolutely. Of course, definitely. We'll see what happens going forward with the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they plan to do next after this. But of course, that'll be at a later date. But moving on to positive notes, let's go ahead and move. I mean, there isn't really much that happened too much in the NFL this week. I mean, really, of course, ever since a lot of the major signings, it's been relatively quiet. Especially since all the good people got signed up, and especially since the Jets ain't getting anything, so that makes good thing. That's good news. Yeah. But anyways, real quick, before we move on to the main topic today, which is going to be, of course, the NBA playoffs and the play-ins. Real quick, let's see right here. Former New England's defensive specialist and two-time Super Bowl champion Brandon King has reached an agreement on a one-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. So it's a little bit of something. Kevin, this, of course, falls into your territory. The 49ers signed Cowboys wide receiver Malik Turner to a one-year deal.
Oh, my Jesus.
Apparently this man does not like this decision.
Special team specialist.
State your case.
He's a special teams player at best. He's not going to see the field. He might see more playoff action than the Dallas Cowboys, though. So good job for him signing with a better team.
Yeah.
Also, Calais Campbell, who was a free agent, is going back to Baltimore for 2 more years. He's going to get a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. That he could get to $16.5 million. So he's returned. He says that more than likely he'll finish up his career there with Baltimore. Let's see. Any other big free agent signings before we move on? I know the Chicago Bears signed a couple things. Oh yeah, we got we got to talk about the Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
That big 4-year extension that he signed. I don't know the numbers exactly because I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, he signed a big contract extension to extend it 4 more years with the Buffalo Bills. So I mean that was a great pickup by Buffalo to have a great player like Stephon Diggs stick around. I think he's gonna continue to help that team grow as a force to be reckoned with.
It's a great signing for Buffalo. I mean, he is going to have a breakout year with Buffalo this upcoming year. I think he might be one of the top 5 receivers leading in receptions and yards and stuff like that this year because he's a proven superstar.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think I don't know the numbers for sure, but I know that it's upward to I think $27 million a year. I believe is what it averages out to be.
Yeah, according to what I'm reading here on Bills Wire, it says it's a 4-year extension. It said Diggs' next deal is worth $96 million with $47 million of that guaranteed.
Good for him. Absolutely good for him.
His new contract averages around $21 million per year. So good call on that. And to me, he deserves that type of money because of an elite player that he is. So.
And he instantly brought credibility to that Bills offense. I mean, they were already good a couple of years ago, but now that he's there in Buffalo, he brings that killer outside receiver threat.
Oh yeah,
he can stretch the field and help out with Cole Beasley and stuff like that, and open up the field, especially when Beasley's having a great game. And knowing Diggs, he can run any route and all that good stuff, and just a good signing for the Bills.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. Really outside of that, there isn't really any other big free agency news. Like I said, it's kind of been a slow week for the NBA, especially now that the NFL playoffs and everything are picking up. Speaking of the NFL playoffs and NBA teams, I know this is a hot topic that I know you guys probably want to get into, especially you, Kevin. I know you have specific thoughts, and that is that announced in the video that we just played, our intro video, that the Lakers are expected to fire Coach Frank Vogel. Of course, Vogel won them a championship during the Lakers during the bubble season, as people like to call it, during COVID. But yeah, only after a couple of seasons, Vogel is appearing to be out as a coach for the Lakers. So I know you guys, like you said, you guys have specific thoughts on this. So Kevin, why don't you go ahead and lead it off with, since I know you have something you really want to say about this.
This move to me was completely irrelevant. It was not that he's got the least blame out of that whole team. I'm sorry, but this is the NBA. A coach shouldn't have to motivate grown ass men who's playing for millions of dollars to do their fucking job. I'm sorry. That falls on your superstar and LeBron James, why this team is not motivated, why they're not doing a damn thing, and why they're just lounging around bullshitting. And Frank Vogel is an NBA champion. I mean, bubble ring, whatever you want to call it, but he was still good at Indiana. If Doc Rivers can win one championship and stick with Boston and fail 4 to 5 years later, give the guy a chance. It's not him. It's clearly the front office. The front office takes the number one blame for this Lakers disaster. You put together a bunch of old-ass geezers on one team, and there's not enough Bengay, Icy Hot, Tylenol, out rubbing alcohol, heated pools around for all these old ass men to heal from, so they can't stay healthy. So it's ridiculous. Like Charles Barkley said, you put this old ass team together and expect to be successful. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Phil Jackson. You're going to quit trying to coach this team. It is not Frank Vogel. And some might say we clown Russell Westbrook. And I told you I had a take on this. Russell Westbrook is not fully at fault for this shit. Everybody knows Russell Westbrook's game. Everybody knew when he won the MVP what his game is. He has to have the ball 90% of the game. He has to run the offense, control the offense. He's a slasher, not a shooter. Playing with LeBron James, you just can't do that. Because when you play with LeBron James, he's going to have the ball 90% of the time. So Westbrook's flaws are more pointed out and highlighted as we've seen this year, where he can't shoot worth a lick, and that sets him up for failure. I mean, could he have improved his shot? Sure, but I'm not going to blame Westbrook for it because they set him up for failure, putting him on a team that has no shooters, nobody who could shoot worth a lick, and you're asking Russell Westbrook, oh, just let LeBron run the offense and you just shoot. You're exposing – it's a cause and effect thing. Like, Russell Westbrook shouldn't have been put in that predicament. I feel like he needs to go to a team where he can run the offense and have shooters. I feel like any other team that has a bunch of shooters that can shoot, he would be good at. Maybe like a Utah. I feel like he would excel there. He don't have to shoot the ball. Donovan Mitchell can shoot. But with the Lakers, you're asking Russell Westbrook, and that goes yet again on the fucking front office because what dumbass in Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss thought it was, let's bring someone who can't shoot to play when a bunch of guys that can't shoot. Hell, we got Dwight Howard, who was 10 years ago the worst free throw shooter, even worse than Shaq, than God ever seen. Oh, we're going to put this team together and we're going to expect to shoot. What? It's ridiculous because there's a reason why LeBron worked out in Cleveland, why that team worked. LeBron was surrounded by shooters. He was surrounded by Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, etc., Kyrie Irving, people who could shoot basketball. Yeah, you put LeBron on a team with a bunch of old-ass geezers who can't shoot, and all they need to do is get health treatment after every game. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but this team was one of the worst teams that the franchise of Los Angeles has ever put on a basketball court. And it's a shame to say because they're a 17-time world champion. And just to hear some of the stuff, here's why we'll criticize the hell out of Russell Westbrook. To hear some of the shit that came out of his mouth over the last couple of days was so unprofessional and disrespectful to the franchise. First, he threw Frank Vogel under the bus saying, oh, you don't know what his problem is with me. No, he's probably sick of it. You guys can't shoot your way into the Atlantic Ocean if you're on a boat in the middle of the sea. And second of all, he goes out and says, and here's where Stephen A., Magic Johnson, guys like that literally shit their pants listening to. Westbrook sat on that stage and said, playing for the Lakers, I have no expectations. You're playing for a 17-time world champion. Oh, we don't have expectations. Now, if Paul Pierce would have sat up there in a Celtics uniform and said, I have no expectation playing for Boston, he would be put on fire for that. Westbrook, that's a disgrace. Kobe is rolling over in his grave right now listening to those words. I'm sorry, but it's a fucking disgrace to the game. It's a fucking disgrace to that franchise. And more importantly, it's a fucking disgrace to the legendary Kobe Bryant, who single-handedly ran that Lakers team in the 20th century. Basically, it's a disgrace. And I'm just glad they're not in the playoffs. So weeks on out, we can stop talking about them old ass geezers and start talking about some teams that win, who can win a basketball game. Thank you.
Well, Kevin, I think you said a lot, and I absolutely 110% agree with every single thing you just said. I mean, look at this Lakers team. This is not Frank Vogel's fault. I mean, he took the Lakers to the NBA Finals 2 years ago, as we call it, in the Mickey Mouse Disneyland bubble, and they won the championship, rightly so. Okay, so they beat the teams they were supposed to beat. And then you get all of these superstars on your basketball team thinking that, oh, I can have the same success with a bunch of stars that have never played together. And no, that's not the way it works. And the fact that you got Russell Westbrook throwing his coach under the bus when it is not Vogel's, fault that his players did not decide to show up in shoot around, at practice, or even during the game when they mattered the most, and play hard. Because when they got beat by the Pelicans back in February, they got the absolute doors blew off their asses. It was a total destruction of an ass whipping. And the Laker fans were booing the Lakers out of the building, and rightly so. Because, you know as well as I do, Kevin, being huge basketball fans, me, you, and everybody on this show, we know that a diehard fan base like the Lakers, the Celtics, you name it, the Bulls, etc., if they don't like the way their teams are playing, they're going to let you know if you're good or if you're not good. And the simple fact that Westbrook is throwing Vogel under the bus and LeBron has the audacity to stand there and say, our season wasn't a failure. Are you kidding me? You have 4 all-stars on your basketball team, and you couldn't put together a 40 or 50 win season? Give me a break. This was the worst super team in any sports history, and that's up there with the Yankees.
Yes, it was.
That's up there with the Yankees and all that stuff. Go ahead.
You got a point, though, but I know we talk about the saying, no one circles the wagon like the Bills. No, we're going to change it up. No one circles the wagon like the Lakers, because the scapegoats that they have used, and this came straight out of Magic Johnson's mouth, everyone's blaming everyone. Westbrook's blaming Vogel. The fans are blaming Westbrook. The front office is blaming Westbrook, Vogel. LeBron's blaming the health issues. The front office needs to suck it up and say, hey, we fucked up. The last 5 years, we gave away great talent like Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, who's a 28-point per game scorer, by the freaking way, who can shoot. We gave away all those guys. We gave away Zubac on the Clippers just to go get them old-ass geezers, Carmelo and Westbrook, and you suck. You plain out suck. The front office straight up flop, and they need to own up to it. And I know these Laker fans, they need to be under their ass. Like, you need to own up to it. You fucked up. You put a bunch of old geezers on one team and think that's a super team. Look at all the teams that are winning basketball. Look what kind of their teams are consisted of. Phoenix has a team chemistry under a good coach. Golden State has team chemistry under a good coach. Memphis has team chemistry under a good coach. Miami, and you look at the circus in Los Angeles. It's horrible.
Yeah, and it's spot on. And just the simple fact that, nobody's going to blame LeBron because, LeBron's a superstar. Come on. Even a superstar back in the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, or even back in the 70s and all that stuff, the superstars were also held accountable for if the team was bad. I mean, look at Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich held his greatest big man, I should say, David Robinson and Tim Duncan to the same level that he held, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, Michael Finley, Manu Ginobili, exactly, Robert Ory, everybody from the top guy all the way to the guy at the end of the bench. That is the
same way
a
with Phil
great
Jackson.
coach.
Phil Jackson held Kobe Bryant Purley accountable. And you know what? He held Kobe accountable. Kobe held his teammates accountable.
Exactly.
Nobody in the Lakers front office is holding LeBron accountable. Nobody in Cleveland did it. So of course, LeBron ain't going to hold nobody accountable. And that's the thing about LeBron. You need to blame him. He's not holding his teammates accountable. He needs to look at AD and say, I don't know what the fuck you're doing in the offseason, but you need to work on strength and conditioning to avoid all these injuries. And you, Westbrook, you need to work on shooting. You suck. And the rest of my team, work on doing where you need to be.
And
Go ahead, Joey.
And the thing about Phil Jackson, like you said, Kevin, the fact that he held Kobe Bryant accountable and Kobe held all of his teammates accountable. What about the fact that back in the 90s, Phil Jackson held Michael Jordan accountable and Michael Jordan held his teammates accountable? Because look at the talent that Michael Jordan had on that Bulls team. He had John Paxson. He had Charles Oakley. He had Dennis Rodman. He had Scottie Pippen. I mean, Jordan had all. He had Steve Kerr. He had all those great players surrounding him who Jordan could hold accountable, just like Kobe. When he was on the Lakers, he held all of his teammates accountable. But I mean, like you guys have said, that Lakers front office is just, they really messed everything up this year because keep in mind, Lakers front office, this isn't 2004, 2005, 2006. You don't have young guns like LeBron, a young gun like Anthony Davis, a young gun like Dwight Howard, a young gun like Carmelo Anthony. You don't have those young guns anymore. They're old. They're washed up. I just don't know what to say. Like you said, Kevin, the Lakers front office really messed everything up this year. And until they decide to get their act together, the Lakers ain't going to be smelling playoffs anytime soon. The Lakers, like I mentioned in the pre-show, the Lakers, as I found out this morning watching SportsCenter before I went to work, are $27 million over the salary cap. $27 million. that lets you know that they're not going to have near as many of the old geezers that they had on the roster this year. So what the Lakers need to do if they ever want to taste success again is go out and get some young guns like a Stephen Curry or a Klay Thompson or a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum or a John Morant, or a DeMar DeRozan or people like that. Those young guns who actually know how to shoot, who actually know how to lead a team to get to cut some of the slack off LeBron. Because keep in mind, LeBron, he's really been under the gun this year because it seems like no matter where LeBron goes, he's going to be the leader of the organization. Whether he was in Cleveland, whether he was in Miami, back to Cleveland, LA Lakers. If he were to go to the Clippers, the Celtics, the Warriors, the Grizzlies, I'm throwing a bunch of teams out there. LeBron would no doubt be seen as the leader. So LeBron needs to get off his butt, realize that he's had players like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan to look up to and say, those guys were able to hold their teammates accountable and they had a lot of success. So maybe I need to do the same thing. Maybe I need to go to the front office, persuade them to sign some young guns so that we can actually be a little bit better next year, get a decent head coach. And I'm not saying Frank Vogel was a bad coach because, like y'all said, Frank Vogel getting fired was not his fault, but still, the Lakers need to go out and get a good head coach who can actually hold LeBron and hold all of his teammates accountable. So that way the Lakers can taste at least a little bit of success next year. Now, is it probably too late? Sure it is, because you got Phoenix who's a dynasty. You got Memphis who's slowly starting to build a dynasty. You got all these other teams, even in the Eastern Conference, that are starting to build dynasties. So yeah, it might be a little too late for the Lakers, but you still got to try regardless.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying, but you got to look at it like this, too. If the front office goes back to them, hadn't fucked up 3 years ago, here's the core you would have had now. Imagine this. Lonzo Ball, who is a solid successor in Chicago right now, he's turned up his game times 10. He got out of that circus. He's doing better. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year last year. He's doing better. Julius Randle, most improved player of the year 2 years ago. He's doing better since he left the Lakers. Then you got Brandon Ingram, who even on the Lakers, he was a consistent scorer. He was a 25-point per game scorer. Still is with New Orleans, vital to their success, even without Zion. They would have had that core if the front office and LeBron would not have fucked with it. They would have had Clarkson, Lonzo, both can shoot now. Would have had Brandon Ingram, LeBron, Zubac. And then you would have had Randall. So all of those guys would have made a solid team in LA. But LA, they fucked up. They ruined it. And Kevin Durant said something 5 or 6 years ago, and it hit it on the head. Playing with the LeBron is a cancer. It's toxicity because of the media, because of the standard you're held out, and mainly because LeBron throws you under the bus. Kyrie Irving got the fuck out of Cleveland. Why? He didn't want no part of it. Nope. Everybody that left LeBron has found success. I'm sorry. Kyrie Irving with Brooklyn still Uncle Drew. He's Kyrie Irving. Jordan Clarkson, even when he went to Cleveland, left and went to Utah. He was balling. Like all those guys. And LeBron has completely turned Westbrook, which Westbrook was still declining from Houston because he still didn't fit that system. He completely fucked Westbrook's career. And AD is not the same as he was in New Orleans. I'm sorry. You can't argue it. He's not the Anthony Davis from New Orleans. Why? Because of LeBron James. And here's the difference. Playing with Kobe Bryant, Kobe elevated his teammates. Derek Fisher would have not been Derek Fisher without Kobe Bryant. Pau Gasol probably would have been an average player at best without Kobe Bryant. Kobe turned him into an all-star. Kobe turned Andrew Bynum without the injuries into something that was going to be very promising. Ron Artest, he revised it. He brought career back to life. Trevor Ariza, Kobe turned all those guys into something more than what they shouldn't be. LeBron turns guys into players less than what they should be. It's that simple.
Exactly. And another thing too, I mean, Russell Westbrook's jump shot and his free throw percentage, even before he went to the Lakers, was steadily declining. I mean, when he first came into the league in 2008, for the first 4 to 5 years with Oklahoma City, he was a very good jump shooter from the mid range and a good free throw shooter, and for the free throw line and stuff like that. And LeBron, you just hit it right there on the head, Kevin. LeBron James does not elevate his teammates. He is the worst. I'll say it right here on the show live. He is the worst superstar to be on a team with, because he does not make his guys better around him, or he doesn't give his guys enough good amount of confidence to be good. Kobe, during his career, his 20 years with the Lakers, when he became the superstar of that team after Shaq left in 2004, Kobe elevated Smush Parker, a guy who wasn't even an all-star. He made him something. He took Kwame Brown and made him to something when he was a draft bust with the Washington Wizards in 2001. I mean, my goodness. I mean,
it just lets you know that as LeBron gets older, his game is going to start deteriorating and deteriorating more, just like his hairline. Hence, Randy Giron's screen name right now.
I mean, you know,
shit shot.
You know, and LeBron, he's putting the blame on the injuries. No, LeBron, maybe you should start instead of putting the blame, just face the reality that Father Time is undefeated. There are 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Father Time will screw you up in the long run, because careers in sports do not last forever, just like things in life. And LeBron's body is slowly but surely disintegrating, breaking down to its literal bare bones. LeBron is not the player that he was 10 plus years ago. He's not is he still good? Yes, because he's LeBron and he still has a good drive to the basket. But he doesn't have the desire to elevate not only himself, but his teammates. Because think about it, guys. In the biggest of moments, LeBron always deferred for the most part. I mean, in the NBA Finals against the Warriors in 2017,
Kyrie Irving,
he passed the ball to Corbin, and he had a wide open 3, and he missed it. LeBron didn't want to be the guy that missed the shot. Luckily for LeBron, Kyrie Irving has that clutch gene, and he shot that 3 against Curry in the finals 6 years ago, and they won the championship. You know,
that's the difference too.
Excuse
me. The difference too, Stephen. Like LeBron, he's scared of the scrutiny he would get. I'm like, bro, you just left for a super team in Miami. You think by now you wouldn't give a fuck what the media thinks about a game-winning shot. That's what made Kobe better. When Kobe was young, he was a young gun airballing a game winner. And you know what? Yep. He learned from that. He gained confidence from that. Then Kobe hit game winner after game winner after game winner after game winner. Double team, triple team, trap. They did everything they could. He would still put up the shot. Jesus Christ. LeBron has no confidence. He's scared he's going to take shit from the media.
2009, Kobe had so many game winners that year for the Lakers against the Celtics, the Bucks, the Grizzlies, etc. The Heat, that incredible bank shot 3 against the Heat over Dwayne Wade. I mean, LeBron hasn't had a highlight that good in God knows how long. I mean, the reason why LeBron has won these championships is because the majority of these championships that he has won has been bailed out by other players that have the balls to shoot the shot when it matters the most. Ray Allen in 2013, that critical back-breaking 3-pointer that crushed the Spurs championship dreams that year. Kyrie Irving.
See, I got to give him a pass. I got to give him a pass for that, because that was just a Chris Bosh, find who you got to find to shoot it up. But LeBron, and here's why I think LeBron, you would think he wouldn't care what the media says, because when was LeBron at the top of the game? When did we stop and say, even me and you, Steven, who hated LeBron, when did we stop and say, oh, yeah, he's the best in the world? Was 2013. He was villain LeBron when he didn't give a fuck what you thought. He said, I don't got no worries. I'm going out there. Me and Wade gonna kill y'all. He was at the top of his game. You would have thought after that he wouldn't have gave a damn what the damn media
That
thought
was the
about
last great team that LeBron had. Was that 2013 Miami team. I mean, they had the record that they won like 20-something games in a row that year. And remember the previous year in 2012, LeBron had that monstrous game against the Celtics at the TD Garden, 45 points. I mean, we were so excited. We were so excited. The Celtics fans going, "Oh shit, they got a shot to go to the finals," and then LeBron said, "Nope," and got to give him credit. When LeBron has that killer instinct back then, he was a dominant player, and ever since he's won these last 2 championships, the killer instinct in him has been gone.
I think, in my opinion, I think the killer instinct for LeBron left whenever he first made or first told that he was going to take his talents to go down to South Beach and play for Miami in his 1 hour long show called The Decision, which his announcement only took like 15 seconds. That right there is when the killer instinct left LeBron, and that's when I lost my respect for LeBron. Whenever he was on Cleveland, I liked him. I liked to watch him. I liked the fact that a young gun like LeBron, who skipped college and went straight to the NBA right out of high school, was going to be like the next Kobe Bryant. I thought he was. But then whenever he decided to make that, I'm going to take my talents to go to South Beach and play for Miami. Bull crap! That's when the killer instinct left him. Dwayne Wade bailed him out so many times. Heck, even Chris Bosh bailed him out a few times, and that's really saying something since Chris Bosh knew how to get flopped on every night and knew how to get dunked on every night.
Yeah.
But you know what? I agree with you, Joey, in a term as far as a respect thing. But I feel like going to Miami, and sometimes you might think the killer instinct left, but I think it actually boosted his career. Like him playing that villain role made him.
I agree.
Way better. Him working with Hakeem Olajuwon on post game and shoot, like that's where he got his shot. Cleveland, you know what KG said in his documentary? He said, "Hey, the big 3 in Boston, we broke LeBron. We made LeBron get better because we forced his ass out of Cleveland
exactly.
and to get some help."
Yeah.
And you know what? He's dead right. Once he
there.
went to Miami, D Wade and him worked together. Now that first year, LeBron was still, he didn't have the killer instinct. But it's something about that OKC championship where LeBron just said, "Fuck you, fuck y'all. I'm taking the ball. I'm going to score no matter what the fuck y'all want. And I'm scoring 45 and 50 at will." And he brought that even back to 2018. Boston had Cleveland down 3-2. And LeBron said, Game 6, nope, you ain't having it.
See, and that's the problem with LeBron is when he has his mindset on the ball, he's clutch and he's good. And that was the last series, Kevin. You're absolutely spot on. Was that masterpiece of a Game 6, sending it back to Boston for Game 7. I mean, and ever since he's gone to the Lakers, with the exception of that 1 year, the bubble, the NBA Finals that they won, ever since that 1 year, for the most part, he has done nothing for this Lakers team. And he's blamed everybody. He's blamed the fans. He's blamed the injuries on why the Lakers are not where they are today. And that's the problem with LeBron, is he's pointing the finger at the fans, which is not their fault that your team is absolute garbage. He's pointing the finger at the head coach when it is not the head coach's responsibility to make the players get off their asses and play their asses off at a basketball game, because it is up to these grown athletes to get on the basketball court and perform to their possible high levels. I mean, sure, do players have stretches where their game isn't good? Absolutely. Even the greatest of players across the world of sports and football, basketball, baseball, etc., have had really garbage games. That happens because that's what happens in sports. But LeBron doesn't know how to shake the slump. When he's in a slump like this, I mean, this Lakers team was getting demolished by Phoenix by 40 points or something like that. And they were getting killed by the Pelicans and everybody.
Golden
State, the Spurs. I mean, my God. I mean, just not a great year. They
lost to the last place Orlando fucking Magic, for Christ's sake.
And I know the Magic was dead last in the East, but in my opinion, the Lakers are automatically dead last in the NBA. it doesn't say it in the record wise, but to me it says it team chemistry and the desire to play good team basketball because
they're all right. They're all down there working on their AARP plan, their retirement funds. That's what they can do for the rest of the summer.
and I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if the Lakers, it was not surprising that the Lakers for the first 15, 20 games were going to struggle because, I mean, come on. It was a brand new team, basically. But they had no excuses the rest of the way. From game 21 all the way to game 82. They had no excuses the rest of the way. Because the NBA, let's be honest, was trying to give the Lakers some of these games. And the Lakers, when they had their shots to win some of these games, case in being against Golden State back in January or February. I think it was February, right? Yeah, February. And LeBron had a chance to tie the game on 3 free throws, and he missed the first free throw. How funny is that? And, and all that. And the Warriors proved in that game that the Lakers were not a strong team as far as top to bottom team because Golden State, Phoenix, Memphis, Utah, hell, even the Mavericks when they're healthy, the Clippers when they're healthy, those teams have a better roster in the West compared to the Lakers, especially also in the East with the Bucks and the Bulls and the Celtics, and the Heat. I mean, just this Lakers team had no excuses the rest of the way. And if I was the fans going to that arena, I'm not going to call it the new arena. That's new arena name is still bullshit. I'm still calling it the Staples Center, damn it. So anyways, the fans that go to that arena to watch the Lakers play, I don't blame them for booing their team because they were sucking so bad for the duration of this season at the Crico.com arena. Yeah. Shitty name for an arena. Also, the Lakers, how fitting in that arena name. They also played like shit the rest of the way. So yeah, you deserve to miss the playoffs, Lakers. And like Kevin said, the couch is nice and cozy, nice and comfortable for you, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo to sit on your asses and watch the NBA postseason.
Yeah, I know. It's like this team is just downright terrible. I could tell you that all day long.
Yep.
I was talking to my girlfriend, by the way. Cinda, love you, babe. Me and we're talking, and I told her I was gonna, we're gonna go out to LA. And she's like, okay, yeah, cool. We'll go out to LA. I said, yeah. So you want to go to the Staples Center? She goes, for what? Lakers game? She told me maybe we should see other people.
Dang.
Oh,
I'm
man.
kidding. But
come on.
I'm kidding about the maybe we should see other people part, not going to the Lakers game.
Absolutely.
I would ask for a refund before he even jumped on a plane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but every time I think of going to a Lakers game, I think of this.
Yeah.
But seriously though, you guys had completely, just correct points on all fronts. This team is a shell of what the Lakers franchise formerly was, and doesn't help that you have a bunch of old dinosaurs on that team who are way past their prime, like Westbrook, like LeBron. You got Anthony Davis, who's like a fucking like glass vase who gets broken every single fucking time and has to be put back together.
Guy needs like 29, 28, something like that.
Guy needs to be wrapped in fucking bubble wrap like a expensive thing being shipped in the mail.
They should get super glue to glue his ass because he can't even stay healthy.
Street clothes. They need street clothes. Dude, he's kept that bench warm more than the fucking towel boy.
Oh shit,
dude!
Golly, man.
It's insane. But I agree with you guys 1,000%. It's ridiculous, and to me, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron somehow bows out of his contract and goes somewhere else. I hope he just flat out retires because he's not what he used to be. I hope Westbrook keeps his mouth shut and disappears for a while too, because his comments, especially during the season, have been fucking ridiculous. Telling the fans, "Oh, if you guys are bored, I said, why the hell are you here? Just go take your asses home." Go fuck yourself, okay? dude, you're here to get paid no matter what. Yeah, you can have opinions, but dude, you telling the fans to go home? They're the ones who pay your fucking salary, you moron.
Yup.
Yeah.
Dude, don't be
Exactly.
stupid. Don't be fucking stupid. Give me a break. I mean, come on. They're the ones who pay your salary. They're the ones who pay for your expensive house, your expensive car. They're the ones who pay for you to go on lavish vacations and buy all your loud ass clothes that looks
Make
like
the shitty clothes, yeah,
yeah,
for real.
buy all your loud ass clothes that looks like you fucking killed half the Sesame Street characters to put together.
I want to know this. Russell Westbrook and Cam Newton go to the same place to buy their shitty clothes.
Well, they both
No,
have
they get
same, well, they both have similar shitty opinions, but we're not going to get into Cam Newton's opinion because that's I don't want to go into negative. I don't want to. I want to stay off the negatives and kind of keep it more of the positive because if we keep digging into Cam Newton, I swear to God, the show will never end. We'll spend another hour just talking about that. But we got a lot to get into, guys. Especially, let's get right into what we came here to talk about. That is the playoffs and the play-ins. Both of them are set. I mean, you got the right out of the play-ins on the west side, of course, is because it's so small, it's hard to fucking read. You got the Pelicans taking on the Spurs, and you've got the T-Wolves taking on the Clippers on the west side. Then on the east side, you got the Atlanta Hawks taking on the Hornets, and you got the Nets and the Cavs. And of course, the Nets and Cavs, all that. Of course, those round one or those playing games, I believe they start on the 16th, right, Kevin?
The play-in, I think. No, one of them's tonight.
Two are tonight.
Yeah.
Play-in start
I'm watching
tonight. The
the play-in right
playoffs
now.
start on the 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
correct.
Nets and the Cavs are tonight, and the Clippers
And
and
Timberwolves.
Thank you, are tonight as well.
Yep.
So, well, let's go ahead and let's gauge your guys' thoughts on the play-in so far. On the play-ins, who do you guys see moving forward? I mean, it's a pretty cut dry process. I see. Personally, if I want to vote, my opinion, of course, the Nets are going to take out the Cavs. The Cavs have a fair shot, though. I'm not saying it's not going to be easy pickings by a shot, but you got Kevin Durant, who's been playing really strong and out of his mind, actually. He's been a hell of a player. I think that team has a really, really, really great chance of going far, but I don't know. As far as the other ones, maybe San Antonio, maybe I could see moving on, but the other ones are, could go either way.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this, though. I think I like the idea of the play-in before I get into my predictions because it's a game
Kevin,
7
I have one problem with the play-in, though. I have one problem with the play-in. Is that the whole winner, loser, winner thing? It confuses me a little bit. I
get what you're saying, but I think what they're trying to do is make those last two playoff spots like a game 7. Like, it's a win or go home. You got to win to get in, and that 9 and 10 seeds have to win 2 of them to get in. And I like it but trust me, I'm on the other end of that because as a Golden State fan, last year technically we were an 8 seed and we ended up losing to the Lakers and lost the next game, and we were put out even though we were technically an 8 seed. But all in all, I like the playoffs, the play-in, and I think this year's play-in, those games, to be honest, all 4 of them are going to be close to me. I think Brooklyn's going to be the one with the farthest advantage because of, like I said, the injuries to Cleveland. No Jared Allen, no Darius Garland, no Colin Sexton. They're beat up. They're really bad beat up. But next year, healthy, Cleveland's got something special. But Brooklyn, I just think Kevin Durant can explode for 50, 60 anytime. Kyrie can explode for 50, 60 anytime. Their supporting cast not been so good. But Kevin Durant might put this team on his back and then ball out. And Atlanta and Charlotte, I think Charlotte still, they suck. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from LaMelo Ball. And it's going to be as a former point guard, it's going to be a treasure to watch. Trae Young and the LaMelo Ball matchup. Boy, that's going to be one for the ages. And I think Atlanta pulls it out because LaMelo, while he can ball, Trae Young can go for 50 at any time with his three-point shooting. He can explode like Steph Curry. So I got Atlanta and Brooklyn winning the East games, and I'm going to say the other 2 are going to be close. I'm going to go with New Orleans. I think New Orleans squeezes past San Antonio. I think Pop's going to keep it close, but I just think C.J. McCollum lately He's been scoring 30, 35. Brandon Ingram's been scoring 30, 35. I just think them two are too dynamic of a duo, and I think they end up getting the 8 seed. And first, I think the Clippers are going to beat the Timberwolves. Playoff, as long as playoff P plays and not pandemic P, I think they're going to squeeze by the Timberwolves. I'm going to say it's going to be a one-possession game all the way to the end. I think the Clippers get the 7 seed. I think New Orleans doesn't do enough. I think Karl Anthony Towns explodes, and I think they're going to end up getting the 8 seed on tomorrow night or the next night when they play. So I think the winner of that 9-10 game, I think it's going to be New Orleans. I think the loser of the first game will be the Timberwolves. So I think the Timberwolves are going to beat New Orleans, and they're going to get the 8 seed.
You know what, Kevin? I agree with your picks. The Nets, to me, honestly had the most pressure because they're going up against a battered Cleveland team. And, I mean, now that they got Kyrie back full, thank God, I mean, and KD doing his thing all year, the Nets have the most pressure on them, but I think the Nets are going to pull it out. They're going to beat Cleveland pretty bad. I think they're going to win at least by 10 to 15. I think Atlanta is going to beat Charlotte by 12. Trae Young, are you kidding me? Trae Young is one of the best. He's a monster. He is one of the best young dudes in the NBA, and he is a superstar for years to come. I think Minnesota's going to beat the Clippers. The Clippers did get Paul George back, but I don't think even just getting George back just now is going to be enough to help them. I think the Timberwolves have the better shot at making it over the Clippers. It's too much for the Clippers. If they were healthy, absolutely they could easily win this game. But I like the play in. I think it's cool, but I do agree with Ezra. It does kind of get confusing a little bit. But other than that, I do like it because it gives every team on the 8th seed, 7th seed, 9th, and 10th seeds a chance to make the playoffs.
Hey, Ezra, I think that they had a special consultant on the math as Scott Steiner did the math for the playoffs. That's why they're like that.
Well, let me tell you, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that doesn't spell doom for Samoa Joe at Sacrifice.
True.
But anyways,
right. It's on right now. I'm watching. It's 48-35. Brooklyn's winning.
Oof.
13 points.
But you know what? I want to rephrase one thing about my statement on the play. Here's where I do think it's a little unfair. Okay, teams like, hear me out, Golden State and Dallas, they have their opponents already set. They get the game plan them for a week. Phoenix and Memphis, who rightfully earned the 1 and 2 seed, they won't know their opponent till maybe Thursday. So they got like 2 days to prepare for their opponent. I think that's a little not fair to the top 2 seeds. Yeah. If you ask me, I just think it's kind of crazy because the top 2 seeds have like 3 days to prepare. Like, you don't know, especially if you're a 1 seed, because the 1 seed, okay, the 2 seed knows who they're going to play tonight because it's the winner, right?
Yeah.
But the 1 seed still has to wait until Thursday to figure out who's going to get the 8 seed. So Phoenix don't get but 2 days to prepare for, do we need to play for Paul George or do we need a game plan for Karl Anthony Towns? I don't know what we're going to do. It's not fair.
And the one thing I'll stress too is, while yes, the rest is great. While it allows your players who are injured to get more rest time and allows them to relax those injuries to get back out in the court. I'm also a person that believes that resting too long also brings not rust. It brings things where where if you sit too long, I feel like that, you don't get that. Like, if you go out there in the court, you're loosened up already. You're ready to go after only a day wait. But 2, 3, 4 days, that's a problem. Yeah. That's why I see with the NFL a lot. I love NFL games that are spaced out between a week, 7 days, whatever, because it's more physical. Where the NBA is just a lot of running back and forth and maybe some checking, but where the NFL is a lot more physical, hard hitting. I could see being a week between that, but with the NBA, if you wait too long, you're going to get those muscles that'll tighten up. You're going to get them, I want these players to be fresh, but I also want them to be ready to go. And to me, to me, I think it's an advantage. Yes, it allows the players, those injured players, to rest up and get healthy. But but those number one seeds are also sitting there waiting, and I know they want to get back out there in the court and they want to be able to dominate and do what they do and get to that NBA title. I do agree with you. I do agree with you on all your picks. I mean, I pulled one for San Antonio just because I felt like San Antonio, but you are right on the Pelicans. Pelicans I think, could slip this one out. It's going to be, I think that's going to be, to me, and that one's probably going to be the most one that I predict is going to be one that could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could go either way, depending on how Pop puts his game plan together, which we know Popovich is Pop. Come on, but anybody else have any comments on the play-ins before we move on to the actual brackets where some of the playoffs are set?
And I do think, real quick, I do think the Pelicans are going to beat the Spurs. Go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, obviously the Nets are going to beat the Cavs tonight. I mean, the Nets, like we said throughout the show, have Kevin Durant. They have Kyrie Irving back full time. They have Patty Mills shooting threes. They have Andre Drummond grabbing rebounds. So, yeah, the Nets are a surefire spot to move on tonight. The Hawks and the Hornets. I honestly think this game could go either way for me because I like both teams. I like the talent that they have behind both teams. I mean, obviously with the Hawks, you got Trae Young, who was so good last year that he led the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So you can never count out the Hawks. But
Nope.
I also like what the Hornets are doing now. They brought in Montrezl Harrell to be a defensive force and a paint scorer before the trade deadline. And of course, they got LaMelo Ball doing some good things with the ball and everything. So, I actually kind of hate to say this, but I'm actually going to go the Hornets in this one. I think the Hornets have just a slight advantage over the Hawks. Now, don't get me wrong, Trae Young can actually go out and have the best game of his life if he wants to, but you know that the Hornets are going to be zeroing in on Trae Young. So my question to that is, will Trae Young be able to read the Hornets defense and still knock down the shots that he needs to knock down? Or is he going to look a little bit flustered against the Hornets' tough defense and kind of struggle a little bit? So that right there makes me think that the Hornets have just a little bit of a slighter advantage over the Hawks because, Trae Young's going to be looking at some tight defense if the Hornets provided enough. Now, as far as the Western Conference play-in, it's obvious that the Clippers and the T-Wolves is going to be the game to watch. I do think the Clippers are going to pull it out over the T-Wolves, but I think the T-Wolves, it doesn't really matter who's going to come out of the Spurs and Pelicans. They're not going to beat the T-Wolves. So the Clippers and the T-Wolves are going to get those last two seeds in the West.
Okay. Your picks are not crazy, so I could go with that. But let's go ahead and move on to the actual playoff bracket. Of course, we know that.
Now, see, I understand what you're saying, Billy, about that.
Go ahead, Kevin.
But yeah, I see what you're saying, Joey, about the Charlotte and Atlanta ordeal. It depends on what kind of game it is. If it's a defensive game, yeah, I could see Charlotte compete. But if it turns to an offensive juggernaut, I don't see Charlotte cannot score with Trae Young. If they don't defend Trae Young, there's no one on Charlotte that can score with Trae Young. LaMelo cannot score like Trae Young just because Trae Young is so lethal for damn near Damian Lillard's logo. The logo Lillard shot, like he can score 50 in a span of 3 quarters.
Yeah, he can. And that's why I said that the Hornets, I know, are going to be zeroing in on Trae Young to try to put as much defense on him as possible to the point where he might struggle. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he will at all, but it wouldn't surprise me to see the Hornets try to lock down Trae Young on defense and have him force up shots.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual playoff brackets. Of course, the number 1 and number 2 seeds are just waiting on the results of the play-in. Of course, the number 1 seed in the Western Conference is, of course, the Phoenix. Number 2 seed in the Western Conference is, of course, the Grizz. And then the 2 matchups that are set for the playoffs are the looks like the Mavericks versus the Jazz, and Gold State versus, I believe it's Denver, right?
Yep, Denver.
These new fucking logos throw me off. I swear to God. But yeah, so yeah, we got two good matchups there. Let's go ahead and talk about those Western Conference matches first. Once again, it's Dallas versus Utah and Denver versus Golden State. Kevin, you go first. We already know what you're pulling for because you got the fucking logo in the back of your head. Yes.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Go first, buddy.
I really think this is Golden State series to lose. Not just saying that as a Warriors fan, but just got news that Jamal Murray is completely out the rest of the season, so there's no chance of him coming back. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be out the rest of the season. It's really only Jokic. And to be honest, Jokic is probably going to have to average 50, 15, and 20 to keep squeaking by because – and also a great news injury report for us Warriors fans is that Steph Curry is now in team 5-on-5 workouts for this week. And he's game time decision, but probably is going to be able to play game 1. So you're going to get Steph Curry back. You got Klay Thompson, who over the last 5 games has put up 30+ in every single game, by the way. We got old Klay Thompson back, baby. Game 6, Klay. We got Jordan Poole, who led the league in free throw percentage this year and who is a dynamite of an offensive player, a guaranteed lock for most improved player of the year. I guarantee that. And then you got Draymond back to form. He looks like his old self, like after finally getting the conditioning back right. And then they got the bench. Jokic, we just have to worry about Jokic. We got to it's not really shutting him down. We got to not let nobody else beat us. Try to shut everybody else down. Jokic he's the MVP of the league. He's going to win it again this year to me, him or Embiid. But Jokic is dominating. There's no doubt about it. But it takes 10 members of a basketball team to win a game. And the Nuggets don't have that. That's why they're a 6 seed. And Golden State with Gary Payton III defensively and Otto Porter and Kevon Looney and guys like that, Andre Iguodala leadership off the bench, and the rookie sensation, Jonathan Kuminga, who's going to be a star in this league. They got a team to go pretty far when they're healthy. Now, the Mavericks and the Jazz got the best news for them because Jason Kidd and the Mavericks, they were tearing it up. He was coaching one hell of a year. He's one hell of a coach. And the Mavericks have been tearing it up since the All-Star break. They've been dominating because of Luka. Luka is the face of the franchise. Him and Jokic are the face of the NBA over the next 10 years. There's nobody else. It's them two. And to watch him go down with that calf strain, that right there tells you, I think the Jazz are going to win in 5. I think they're going to win in 5. I think they're going to almost dominate every game because no Luka, no playmaker. Donovan Mitchell might take the game over. I got the Mavericks losing in 5 games to the Jazz. But back to the Warriors, I got the Warriors winning 5 games against the Nuggets. I think Jokic wins 1 in Denver, but I think Steph Curry and Klay is going to light it up. They're going to look back. They're going to look like 2017 Steph and Klay. And Draymond's back to normal. I think the Warriors win in 5.
As long as Draymond doesn't start kicking people in the nuts again, we'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, Steven. I don't mean to interrupt. But you did mention Luka. Yeah, you did mention he's dealing with that left calf strain. Really no timetable for return, even at this point in time. Also, I want to shout out a couple people in the chat. I haven't gotten to mention the chat in a while because we've been so busy with our discussions. Of course, a shout out to Front Row, who said, "What's up, guys? Have a great show." What's up, Front Row? We'll see you in a little bit. And of course, he also tweeted from the Nation's Corner account. Once again, follow Nation's Corner on all their socials and check out the show Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, youtube.com/Nation's Corner. Also, of course, Randy's dad, William Giron, checking in as well. What's up, man? Hopefully you're enjoying the games tonight, and don't curse at the TV too loud.
That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. Horseshit.
Absolutely. Steven, go ahead with your assessment on the Western Conference playoffs.
Just like Kevin's internet connection. Horseshit. Anyways, so Kevin, I do agree with your assessment on the Warriors and the Nuggets. I really think that Denver is really outmatched by Golden State. I mean, from top to bottom, the starting five, the bench, the reserves on the Golden State Warriors are just so much better than Denver's entire team. And Jokic, yeah, he might win MVP again this year, but I think Curry, Thompson, Green, as long as he doesn't kick players in the balls again, like Ezra just said, I think Golden State is going to cruise their way into the second round of the Western Conference semifinals. I think they're going to win in 5. I agree.
I have breaking news. The Warriors signed Zaza Pachulia.
He's gonna step on Jokic's ankles.
Yeah, he's gonna kick Jokic in the ankle. So you're good to go. You're good to go, Kevin. You're good to go.
I also have breaking news. The Warriors have announced that they will be trading LeBron. That they'll be trading Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green for LeBron James at the end of the season.
I quit.
Oh, man.
I quit.
That's awesome. Laker Nation is back. Yes.
And they're also trading their whole bench for Russell Westbrook.
Sweet.
So they'll have 2 players on their team.
Thanks for Russell Westbrook.
So they're going to have 2 players and cut out cardboard boxes of players. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, what do you know? It's like the Jets' entire lineup.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving back to the NBA. Anybody else, real quick, for the Joe? Did you give your opinions on the Western Conference?
Obviously, the Warriors are going to win. I agree with Kevin and Steven. The Warriors have too much talent, and the Nuggets can't really match it to the Warriors' potential. So I can see the Warriors in 5. And I do think the Jazz are going to beat the Mavericks, but I'm not going to say in how many games yet because it all depends on how much of the series Luka Doncic will play. If Luka Doncic plays, I can see the series going to 7 because, I mean, the Mavericks and the Jazz can pretty much tear it up on any given night in the NBA because of how deeply talented both those rosters are. But if Luka Doncic, if he doesn't really play a whole bunch, I can see it going 5, maybe 6 games. So it all depends on how much Luka Doncic plays. But I do think the Jazz are going to come out on top.
And I do think the Jazz are going to win their series against Dallas. But Joey, my only thing with the series, if it goes 7 and Luka does play, my biggest concern for Dallas, if this series goes to 7 against Utah, does Luka have enough players on that team? If he is struggling during Game 7, does he have enough players on that team that he can turn to and defer, say, hey, can you help me out here? Because I'm not doing too good here from the field. Because that's the one thing that Utah has. Utah has multiple players on that team that they can go to in any given situation, especially Donovan Mitchell's not playing good. He's got other players to turn to, in that situation.
And that's why I said regardless.
Is that
Wow, your internet
The Mavericks have been on another level.
Your
internet connection sounds like Steven's fucking Jaws program.
Your internet connection froze just like LeBron did in the 4th quarter.
I think he's underwater.
No, but
I think he's underwater.
I don't think Dallas, since they got Spencer Dinwiddie, I think they've been good. I think they've been one of the best. I think Utah, I'm going to retract my statement. Hold on. I'm going to retract my statement.
All right.
If Luka plays before Game 4, I say Dallas in 7 because Utah is good at blowing leads. They're good at blowing series. They had a 2-0 series against the Clippers last year, blew it. And this is going to be the last time you see Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell on the court together. They're going to break that team up.
Yeah, I mean,
I believe that's what's going to happen.
that is a
Good
that's
point.
a pretty interesting point right there.
Good point.
Yeah.
'Cause you're right
I
about
think,
Utah blowing these big leads.
With Kevin was saying this bit about the not being able to game plan for the eight number 1 and number 2 seeds, but I also think that these two matchups, Golden State and Denver and Dallas and Utah, are great matchups, and whoever comes out of that is even though they're going to win, they won, they're still going to be beat up. I mean, because these are four great teams, so I mean, there's no real advantage there. But that's how great the West is, I think. So
I agree with you, Randy.
so I think it's still going to be good either way. Whoever comes out of the West, no matter what, I think will win the title this year, because it's been a pretty let's see how I put it, pretty evenly matched. I mean, other than Phoenix running away with it, but I think they're a flash in the pan. They just score, and that's about it. And I think Golden State is the total package with that as far as that goes. But go ahead, Ezra.
No, what I was going to say is I do agree with your assessment. And one thing you guys hit the nail on the head is with Dallas is how much time if Luka is healthy enough to play, how much time will he have? Will he have a minutes restriction? Will he be able to go out there and play his best? Because calf strains are nothing to fuck with. Because, this whole game in the NBA, your mobility on your feet is everything. And you can't risk that. And especially if that calf is tight, you got to be careful not to tear that. And Luka's going to have to be extremely careful if he's able to come back. I don't think he's going to play much at all. And if he doesn't play his normal minutes, that's going to affect the progress that Dallas is going to make in the playoffs. And even if they take it to 7 games, I don't think Luka's going to play more than maybe 15, 20 minutes tops, because he's going to have to deal with that. And only so much treatment throughout the game is going to be able to push you forward when eventually that calf's going to give out, whether it gets strained again or whether it tears. So if Luka even does come back, I don't see him playing more than 20 minutes a game.
That is a very great point, actually, because one bad move on that strain could turn it into a tear or sprain, which could mean Doncic could be out for a whole lot longer than what's originally planned. So great point there, Ezra.
But you know what? Also, there's one thing that comes in mind when you think of a calf strain and why you got to be so careful. Cough, cough. Kevin Durant, 2019 NBA Finals. He was diagnosed with a calf strain, and come to find out, he snapped his Achilles. You got to be careful.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's one of the big things for me. I agree with. I think I'm gonna push this. I think it's gonna be Utah in 6. I think it's gonna be Utah in 6. I think this is gonna be a harder fought matchup. But Utah will win it. But like you said, I think they're going to blow leads on both of those games. But I think they're going to bounce back and win the rest of the series. And as far as Golden State, I see Golden State 5. I mean, come on, how do you not? To me, Golden State's just too much of a powerhouse, especially with Steph Curry coming back, or just getting back from this injury. Then you've got Klay Thompson, like you said, he's playing great. As long as Draymond Green is in the right headspace and playing well, and the rest of the bench is doing their job, I think Golden State's going to take this one with ease. Let's go ahead and move forward to the Eastern Conference. Of course, we got the 2 matchups. We got the 76ers and the Raptors, and we got the Bucks and the Chicago Bulls. I'll give my opinion real quick on Chicago. They've been playing well, but they've also been dealing with a lot of injuries. Lonzo Ball out. Zach LaVine been playing injured throughout most of the last half of the season. Unfortunately, with those knee injuries he's been having, it's going to be a tough call. As much as I am a Bulls fan, I am a realist, and I'm going to go with people I know most of my friends saying it's going to be pretty much a sweep. I disagree. I think it's going to be Bucks in 6. That's my opinion for that series. 76ers and the Raptors. I know the 76ers have been playing really well ever since that trade. They've been playing pretty good. That's a tough one to call. I think I'm going to go with the 76ers. I think it's going to be in either 6 or 7. I just think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a tight matchup. That's my opinion. What are you guys' opinions on Eastern Conference playoffs?
I think Milwaukee should come out of the East. They're tried and tested, and they have all the same players, and they proved last year that team ball wins, and I think they'll come out. I think they'll come out of the East. Brooklyn, if Brooklyn gets in there and can be healthy, I think they'll make some noise. Unfortunately, I like to see them go away. And Philadelphia might do something too, but I think Milwaukee is the class of the East, and I see them coming out of the East for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth about the Bucks, Randy. Until proven differently, I've got to go with the best player in the NBA, and that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not going any different. And Ezra, I know we talk about your Bulls. They're coming up. They're doing something special, and they have been. But looking at them against the top tier, the East this year, they're like 0-7, and it kind of concerns me, especially with all the injuries. And they're playing Giannis, so I'm going to go the Bucks in 5 in that one because Giannis is going to average 30 and 15. He's too good. He's too good. But I think the Bulls win one in Chicago, and it's going to be something to grow on next year. And the Sixers, they've been up and down so much, even with Harden. I'm going to say it goes 6 games. I think Embiid is just going to average 37 a game like Shaq. He's just going to dominate. He's too big down there. He's too much of a dominant center in the NBA for anybody to – you're going to have to double team him. And then Harden's going to get open looks, and he's going to catch fire. So, but I will make 2 quick points, even though because the playoff rounds ain't set. I know I said the Nets is a 7 seed and the Hawks is an 8 seed. If that happens, I'm going to make 2 surprising picks. Boston beats Brooklyn in 7 games. I got Boston in 7 against Brooklyn. I just think they don't have the supporting cast. The Kyrie and KD supporting cast have let them down even after the trade. Seth Curry and Patty Mills, they've just constantly have been letting them boys down. This team lost a game to Memphis, and I know it's Memphis, but KD had 49 and Kyrie had 37, and they still lost. What does that tell you? Supporting cast don't show up. And you're playing against Boston, who can score with KD and Kyrie. Not only score, they have the number 1 defense in the NBA. So I'm going to say Boston in 7 against Brooklyn. And Miami, the way they're looking, I'm going to go the Hawks in an upset in 7. I think the Hawks can win.
Oh,
Kyle Lowry cannot guard Trae Young. Jimmy Butler is not a closer. That's one thing about Miami and Trae Young that I've noticed. So far since in the league, and ask the New York Knickerbockers, Trae Young is a closer. He's a fucking closer. He's a guy that says, give me the fucking ball, get out of my way, I'm going to end the game. Ice in his veins. Hence the name Ice Trae. Miami don't have a closer on their team. They have guys that can close, but not one of them have been proven to be closers. Jimmy Butler, no. Kyle Lowry, no. Tyler Hero, no. They have no closer. So I'm going to say the Hawks in 7.
Man, wow, Kevin, like that very, very interesting picks that you just made. I think that, you're right about the Bulls. I think that, they're not going to beat Milwaukee because Milwaukee has the better team. They're a battle-tested team. They've already won a championship together. They've also been to the conference finals a couple of times in the last couple of years. And I think Chicago's not going to win the series, but I think Chicago is going to push this to 6 games. And I think the Bucks are going to dispatch them in 6 games. And your points on the Nets are spot on. I mean, with the exception of Kyrie and KD, their bench and the supporting cast really isn't that great. It's okay. It's average, but it's not great. Boston, again, when they are on their game, they have a better team. Jason Tatum, he is playing spot on. Yeah. And I think Boston is going to beat the Nets. I'm leaning towards 6 or 7. It's really hard to pick. I mean, I'm actually going to go with Boston in 6. I think that Boston is going to beat the Nets. I mean, KD and Kyrie's going to show out, ball out, all that good stuff. But I don't think that they have the complete team to go up against the Celtics this year in the playoffs.
Okay.
Hey,
Real quick. Oh yeah, Joe, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joey.
I am actually gonna agree with Kevin with the Bucks and the Bulls. I mean, yeah, the Bulls have a great team. They're coming up, especially if DeMar DeRozan decides to stick around for quite some time. The Bulls may actually be something, but when you have a team like the defending NBA, or when you're going up against the defending NBA champions who pretty much have had the same team since last year, you got to go with Milwaukee in this case. So I'm going to say Milwaukee in 5, but that's only because Milwaukee is just that good of a team. Do I think the Bulls have the talent to turn it into a possible 6-game series? Of course I do. But at the same time, I think Milwaukee just has that mojo around them that's going to make them seem like a threat for years to come. So I'm going to say Milwaukee in 5.
And I do agree with you guys' assessments on Chicago. Yes, definitely. This is a playoff run. Well, whether it be short, this is the one that the Chicago team can really build on. They got the tools to have a playoff, deep run playoff team. They just need to get players healthy. They need to find maybe 1 or 2 more pieces that will build that puzzle to the point where they can be NBA Finals contenders. They're not saying they're not right now. They got amazing players. They got Zach LaVine. They got Mark Haken. They got Lonzo. Lonzo's been playing some of his best ball. You mentioned this earlier, Kevin, that Lonzo, ever since he came to Chicago, has been playing great ball. He's been averaging great numbers. He's been playing well. He's had great chemistry with that team. And then, like I said, Zach LaVine's been playing out of his fucking mind. That dude is an absolute deadly sharpshooter. That dude can hit threes, jump shots. He can do whatever. He's a multi-tool player. That guy is just an absolute killer. And like you said, while this may be a loss in the playoffs, while this may be an elimination, this is something that team can build off of and really, really be a threat next season as long as they make the right adjustments and get everybody healthy. Now back to the playoff. Now back to the pictures. I agree with all your guys. I do agree with your assessments, especially on Boston. Boston's a team that is, they're dangerous, bro. And I think, especially if it goes the way like you said, I think Boston's going to give them is going to give any team a hell of a run.
Yeah.
But
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Boston might be the most wild card team as far as the top, tier teams in the NBA playoffs this year, because when they get hot and they're on a roll, they can really dominate this year.
Yeah. I'm actually going to agree with Kevin on something that he said. The fact that he said that the Heat don't really seem like the most competitive team right now as the number 1 seed. And honestly, I kind of got to agree with that because Miami, I mean, yeah, they're the number 1 seed, but that doesn't mean that they're going to play like a number 1 seed. I mean, Miami has a bunch of weaknesses that they need to fix before they even think about approaching the series with a team like Cleveland or Atlanta or somebody else. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I think the Heat are I think the Heat may get exposed depending on who they face as their first opponent. And I would be surprised to see the Heat get bounced out in the first round, like you said, Kevin. I would be surprised at that at all.
Miami to me might be the weakest number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. That or hell, in any conference in the past several years, last 20, 25 years, because did it have good players? Yes, but I don't trust Miami in a big spot.
I don't either. They struggle to put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
You can't do that come playoff time. Teams will expose you.
Absolutely. Before that pretty much covers the NBA playoffs and everything. Don't forget, of course. Let's actually go. Randy, do you have a quick update on the Brooklyn Cleveland game at this time?
I think it was it's actually on commercial. I'll let you know.
67.
I looked it up. It's 67-47. Started the third quarter.
Yeah,
Our team-
they're trying to run away with it a
Damn.
little bit.
Yeah. 8:45 to go in the third quarter. 67-47 Brooklyn.
Yeah. Boban was yelling at Jake from State Farm when I was watching it. So how do we have co-stars if we don't use
Yeah.
them?
Brooklyn is just smashing its stack in Cleveland like Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Oh, hang on. I just now saw this. I'm looking at the game on the ESPN app, and as of right now, Kyrie Irving is a perfect 10 for 10 from the field, including 3 for 3 from 3-point range. He has
Wow.
23 points right now. A perfect 10 for 10 from the field.
10 for 10
Great game for Kyrie.
and
I know,
zero.
and
Wow.
see, Kevin Durant is not that far behind. He's 5 for 6 from the field. So yeah, he's not that far behind as far as shooting.
LeBron never would have those numbers come playoff time.
Nope.
Yep, Kevin Durant's got 14. Drummond's got 12 with 8 rebounds. Even Seth Curry's got 12. Irving's got 10. Or no, Seth Curry's got 0. Irving's got 23. Patty Mills has got 6. So hopefully they can get scoring a little more even, but they're playing great. I mean, 20 points in the third quarter. Yeah, this is going to be smash and stack like Roman. But let's go ahead and move forward out of the NBA now that we have that. And of course, we hope everybody enjoys the NBA playoffs. We'll be watching closely. And of course, we'll update you guys more next week on our Nation Sports Show as well with more NBA coverage. Let's go ahead and get into some Major League Baseball. Opening day, opening season has officially started. I know there's been some great games so far. Of course, I downloaded the MLB app. It's got free MLB TV. Thank you, T-Mobile.
Wow.
But so far,
Wow.
yeah. So far, it's been a good season so far. I know my White Sox right now are right now 3-1 to start off the season, which is pretty damn good. Play some pretty good ball. I know some of you guys are baseball fans, especially you, Joey. Your team is the Atlanta Braves. I don't have all the standings in front of me. How's Atlanta doing so far?
Right now they're not off to their absolute best start. They're 2-3 right now, which is not bad.
It's fair.
It's not bad, but it's fair.
Okay. Really, and I know the Cubs have been doing decent as well. Cubs right now are currently 3-1 as well. Seiya Suzuki has been playing really, really well for Chicago. He homered deep twice in today's game with the win over the Pirates 2-1. The White Sox beat Detroit the other day 10-1. White Sox playing really, like I said, they're playing some great baseball right now. Pitching's coming together. Their hitters are really hammering the ball. I'm excited for the season coming up with Major League Baseball for sure. Some quick MLB notes before we move on to some maybe one or two other topics. Right now, Cleveland today, the Cleveland Guardians beat Cincinnati today 10-5. Steven Kwan, he's gone 5 games without missing a pitch. So he's doing pretty well. This rookie has.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yep. So, in a quick note about Seiya Suzuki, his first home run with estimated 398 feet before going out of the park. So he's got power.
Oh, my Lord.
But there isn't really much more to tell about Major League Baseball. Of course, this is just the beginning of the season, but I'm glad as baseball fans that opening day is here, and one of the other 4 major sports are back up and running as normal as it can be, which is something we've been waiting for all of us. Full crowds, ready to cheer their team on. I'm excited for the baseball season. Go White Sox. But other sports news I want to get into real quick on, of course, ESPN serving our great thing. The Nets have announced that they will be donating $50,000 to the victims of today's subway shooting that left almost 20 people hurt, including 10 of them from gunshot wounds. Definitely send our prayers and all that to all those people who were hurt today.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
Definitely. Right here, quick note. It says comes from Congress says that the Washington Commanders appear to have broken financial laws and owe money to visiting teams and
Lord.
ticket holders.
Wow.
It says right here, according to for the U.S. House Oversight and Reform Committee, says that the Washington Commanders have failed to refund security deposits, concealed revenue, and kept 2 sets of financial books.
You know, in regards to that whole situation, I got 5 little words for you guys.
Fuck
Get
yes.
Dan Snyder out now. This is all because of him.
Dan
This is
Snyder.
all because of him. It's all because of him. Get his butt out now before I'll probably have to do it myself.
Well, I know we're gonna have to spend about 10 years then without you on the show, so we'll find a replacement.
I was joking about that part, but still,
Yeah, I know.
Get Dan Snyder's butt out now, please. Get his butt out. We don't need him no more.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's still the owner somehow. I don't know.
I know.
I thought Dallas was one of the worst ran franchises. No, the Commanders had the worst luck of the draw all the time because Dan Snyder doesn't know how to quit screwing up the team. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Don't worry. Once we finally get Dan Snyder out, we'll finally be on the uprise. But speaking of Dallas,
no.
I was gonna bring this up during last week's show, but for Steven and Kevin weren't on here, so they weren't able to hear. So I'm gonna say it now. It is so amazing how we were actually able to hear the word champion inside of AT&T Stadium back during WrestleMania weekend. Because we're never gonna hear that in the NFL.
Nope.
Trust me. Dallas has had more championships in their stadium than they had in their entire freaking run as an NFL team.
I mean, who would have thought the only championship that Aaron Rodgers would have won in the NFL, the Super Bowl, would have been in Dallas? How ironic is that?
Mm-hmm.
Great job. Aaron Rodgers picks the shittiest, overrated football team to win the Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. His only championship came in Dallas. After that, nope. No dice.
I think I'd rather go see a Dallas game than go pay the Lambeau tax for anything bought in Green Bay. It's not even a fucking joke. People think I'm kidding. If you don't know the history of Green Bay and the Packers, the stadium that when they built Lambeau Field, in order to pay off the debt for the stadium to be built, they instituted what is known as a Lambeau tax on anything you buy in Green Bay or in Wisconsin. I know. If you buy anything, they include an extra tax to go with your regular tax on food or whatever you buy. to freaking pay for the stadium. So basically, you're paying for the stadium that you're already paying hundreds of dollars to get into, to buy your $10 hot dog, your $15 beer, and your fucking $40 T-shirt, or your $200 jersey. And you're gonna sit there and watch that game, and you also got to pay another dollar something at the store you're gonna go to buy food afterwards to freaking pay for their fucking stupid ass field.
Absolutely ridiculous. Did not know this. I mean, now we totally understand, Ezra, why you have a disdain towards Green Bay.
Well, no, I have a disdain towards Green Bay because they kick my Bears out of the fucking playoffs every fucking year. Aaron Rodgers makes us look like a bunch of bitches. It's not that hard to figure out.
I mean, he does own Chicago.
He does, but
at least he thinks so in his little mind.
Yeah.
He's too busy worried about his vaccination status right now over anything else at this point.
Yep.
Hey, I will say though, he may own Chicago as of this point, but he may not own them next year because who the heck is Aaron Rodgers going to throw to next year?
Nope.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna go throw to the ghost of Trip Daniel Jones.
That's a great album title.
The Turf Monster.
You know what? We can sit here and trash Aaron Rodgers, Dallas, the Jets, the Lakers all night long, but I think we're gonna wrap this show up real quick. I mean, we've had a great conversation. There's really nothing in the MMA world at this point in time.
Although the pay-per-view this past Saturday was pretty damn good. I mean, UFC
absolutely.
273 was, man.
I will say that much. I did get a chance to watch UFC 273.
Dude, that Gilbert Burns homicide fight, holy shit, that was a barn burner.
Absolutely.
They beat the piss out of each other. I mean, good God. It was like UFC, man, ever since the return of crowds last year, these fight cards have been absolutely stacked and tremendous. I mean, and it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I mean that Aljamain Sterling Peter Yan fight was a great split decision fight. That was great. Also, Volkanovski laying out Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie, in the 4th round. That was
took him to school.
Absolutely, like you said, that Gilbert Burns fight was a bar burner. Dude, the whole card from start to finish was a really, really strong card. So definitely that's the fight to look forward to. The next pay-per-view, the next big pay-per-view, I believe, it's UFC 274. And it'll be a actually really big fight. Justin Gath will take on Charles Oliveira for the UFC Lightweight Championship. And then also on that card, in the co-main event, women's strawweight title fight, Rose Namajunas will take on Carla Esparza. And then we also got Michael Chandler, former Bellator champion, taking on Tony Ferguson.
That should be a good one.
Here's a great fight. Mauricio Shogun Hua taking on Vince St. Preux in a light heavyweight fight. And Donald Cowboy Cerrone taking on Joe Lozon. That is a strong card, and that'll be one I will certainly be watching. That'll take place on May 7th, so next month we'll be able to catch that fight. But that pretty much wraps up the show for today. So how about we get our final thoughts in before we completely close it out? Kevin, you had your hand up for some odd reason.
Yeah, I have my hand up.
Guys got party.
Yeah. You know what? My final thoughts is I'm just having a party over here. No Los Angeles Lakers in the playoffs. No LeBron James in the playoffs. I don't have to watch his hairline in the playoffs. I'm just having a good time over here. Welcome to the party.
Your internet connection agrees too.
Dang.
Your internet connection is shittier than Joe's location of filming.
Oh, come on! Come on!
Or my lighting.
Looks like you're in a permanent fog.
Who me? Yeah, I am.
And then Steven's got his bright ass light in the background above his. He's got his bright ass light in the background. He looks like he's walking into the light.
Kind of like Jesus over there. You know.
He does look a little bit like Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, if Jim Caviezel and Dave Grohl had a love child, it'd be Stephen Wyatt.
There we go.
He's muted too. He doesn't even know what happened about him.
He doesn't even know what the fuck we're talking about here.
What the fuck is going on over here?
Dude, it's the end of the show. Anything goes at this point.
Now Kevin's got the
Come
Jets.
on,
over.
Kevin. What's with the Jets background, man?
Oh my god.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's going off the rails.
This is
We gotta-
this
we
is-
gotta wrap this up.
There you
Oh,
go.
there
All right,
you
guys,
go.
let's get these final thoughts in so we can close
There's-
this bitch out.
Oh,
Kevin,
no.
I'm glad
Wow.
you're
Anyways, okay, before my in over here was shit just like your connection was. Anyways, I guess Karma said, fuck you, motherfucker. Anyways, so before we go off the air, I want to say great show with you guys. It was phenomenal show and always great talking sports and all that fun stuff. And man, just great show all around talking NFL, NBA, little UFC, talking about the playoffs. And we wouldn't be remiss if we didn't mention this guy, one of Ezra's favorites. Rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried. Just a legend in the comedy industry, man. I mean,
Oh man.
just terrible, terrible
Oh,
loss.
yeah.
Terrible.
Rest in peace, you son of a bitch. You still hate midgets even to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't reminisce if we brought that guy up. I mean, what a legend. What a legend he
He's
was.
amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's just incredible. But LeBron James, go fuck yourself and the Los Angeles Lakers. You deserve to sit home on your couch and watch the playoffs.
Here's the fun part about that. I don't need an impersonation to make that part possible.
Yeah.
True that.
But,
Exactly. But
uh,
as always, great show with you guys. And can't wait the next week talk about the first couple of games in the NBA playoffs for the West and Eastern Conference opening rounds. And just, again, great show with you guys. Ezra, wrap it up, my friend.
well, we
Whoa.
got to do. Well, everybody's still got to do their final thoughts before we.
That's
wrap
right. Shit.
it up. So let's go with let's go with Joey Thornton here. Joey, what you got, man?
Once again, another great show with you guys. Great analysis on the playoffs and the play-in tournament and everything. Great analysis on baseball and great talk about NFL as always. I love getting on here talking with you guys every week about sports and about Lord knows what, trashing athletes here and there, trashing team, trashing organizations is great. But I do want to be the first to say there's a very important holiday coming up this Sunday, and that is the fact it is Easter Sunday. So I want to be the first to wish all of you guys, all of our viewers, and all of our subscribers a very happy Easter. And I hope you guys have a great time with your loved ones, your family, your friends, whoever you decide to hang out with. And I do also want to point out that we don't have to wait a little bit longer for a little bit of football action to roll around because we got the United States Football League starting up this Saturday night. So I might check that out, see if it's something worth watching. But once again, another great show with you guys. Look forward to next week. Peace and good night.
Well, I know, Kevin, what are your thoughts on the I know you gave your final thought earlier about LeBron, but what are your real final thoughts?
I'm trying to get over this damn mask. I don't want to get nobody.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, look, I'm just wearing this mask so I don't catch the bullshit that the Lakers get. I'm just wearing this mask. I don't want to get what the Lakers got, but I'm celebrating. They're not in the playoffs, and I'm happy. I hope everybody has a happy Easter this Sunday, and hope everybody has a good time watching the playoffs without LeBron James.
Yes, absolutely. Thank God LeBron's out of the playoffs. again.
Damn.
Cry, baby. And happy Easter, everybody.
Mm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But not to LeBron. Just saying.
Damn. Yeah, that's one. Hey. Yeah, I forgot it was Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. I hope everybody has a great Easter and great show as always. Great, great analysis, and this playoffs is gonna for the NBA is gonna be great this year and or this season, and it'll be really interesting to see who comes out of there, out of each division. So, but yeah, great show, and rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried. He was the man.
Yep.
And if you ever get a chance, I recommend headphones. If you don't have people, if you have people around, but check out his roast of George Takei. It's a classic on on YouTube, and it is unreal. But it is
also
the
don't
funniest
forget
thing I've ever heard.
also don't forget to check out his time on the Comedy Central roast of Bob Saget too as well.
Yeah. Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
He tells the aristocrats joke too. If you guys ever know what that is.
We're not gonna say some of the jokes out here because we don't want to.
No, God. We
We
want viewers. We want people to stick around.
Yes.
But yeah, like I said, I recommend Des, but I also recommend in private.
Yeah, definitely.
With good headphones on. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he will be missed. I was saddened when I heard that today. So yeah, rest in peace. So
absolutely
great show, guys.
Yeah. I also want to point out real quick that I have changed my Twitter handle. And it's not JTS Skins anymore. I went ahead and decided to change it. My Twitter handle, if you guys want to follow it, is roll_tide 1992 with the R and the T in capitals. So
Okay.
Yep. I decided to change it.
Cool.
Good.
All right. First of all, thank you guys for, of course, thank you to the crew here. You guys did awesome. This was a great show as always.
We're back, baby.
Very deep discussion into NBA playoffs, and we can't wait to see the play-ins come to an end and the real playoffs begin. Of course, that starts on the 16th. The play-in starts now. Check your local listings. Check where you can watch it. Also, real quick, I know this is not a wrestling show, but big announcement from Tony Khan earlier tonight, and that for tomorrow on AEW Dynamite, first time ever matchup already with Minoru Suzuki versus Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Title. It is going to be CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro 1-on-1.
Nice.
So it's going to be a hell of a matchup tomorrow on Dynamite. And of course, that'll all be covered along with the rest of the weekend wrestling on the Nation's Corner this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't forget, also coming up, there is a Mission Pro pay-per-view as well. I believe it might be this weekend or next weekend.
It is this weekend, actually. Yes.
Yep, this weekend. Catch it. I believe it's Saturday on Title Match Network. Of course, Mission Pro with, of course, the sponsor of the Nation's Corner sponsors Mission Pro Wrestling. And of course, Thunder Rosa runs that promotion. Check it out, missionprowrestling.com for tickets and more info. And don't forget, of course, all of our socials and everything will be on the video. So, as usual, for Kevin Rorie, for Stephen Wyand, for Randy Giron, and for Joseph Thornton, I am Ezra Vickery. We will see you all next week for another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and happy Easter. Peace.
Turn me up.